everybody. Welcome. Hi. We are having some mobile conversations again today because where I was indoors, but it was not allowing me to go live. It just kept saying that it was connecting. And so at some point, we got to make changes, right? You got to make do. So we're going to wait for a few people to come in here and give it just a minute, maybe a minute. I think I can invite a few folks. Let's see, who can I invite? Let's invite a few people and let them know we're here. I'm just going to click on a few folks here. Come on in. If you're here, let's see. We're just going to invite a few. All right, so that's all I'm going to invite. So when you guys come in, you can invite a few people yourself. So, so hopefully we'll get a few viewers. If not, that's okay. Catch it on the replay. So who am I? Let's just get this party started, okay? I am Coach Myra J. Stepter. I'm a clarity coach, empowerment speaker, author, mental health advocate, and the chief small producer. So listen, what I do and what we've been doing here in the Winning Mindset is talking about things that will help us gain a winning mindset in business and in life. We don't want to just get stuck on things regarding business. We want to also look at things that help us win in life, right? We want to bring forth and call forth the things that are going to help us be winners in life. What I generally do is I take the Jack and the Jane of all trades and help them focus, help them build confidence so that they can stop the self-sabotage and live an empowered life that makes them smile. That is what I do all around in the different areas that I work on. And so in our series of the Winning Mindset, we've really just been looking at different areas that we can fine-tune our focus, areas that allow us to take a look at what will help us move forward more powerful, more move forward empowered. And so today I've been sick the last few days, or I like to say had symptoms of being sick the last couple of days. So I've spent a lot of time just in reflection, in rest, in taking care of myself, in even sitting back, looking at business, looking at a lot of things, right? Looking at a lot of things. And so in this fourth installment of the Winning Mindset, I just wanted to come to us and talk to us about who taught us to be afraid. When did we get this thing that is holding us back, this thing that makes us shudder at certain things? When did we gain fear? When did we gain fear? It kind of came up when I was sitting and looking at some old pictures. I was looking at old photos of myself as a child, and there was one in particular where, and I'm not at my laptop right now, I was going to show this photo from my laptop because there was a meme that I put together, but and I'll probably post it in the comments later on. But there was a photo of me as a child, and I was running, and above the photo I put, I was fearless until I was taught to be afraid. Because this particular photo, last year I wrote a book. Many of you know I wrote a book, Stepping Out of the Fog. It chronicles a bit of my journey through depression and some of the tools that I used as I came out of the fog, right? But after I finished writing the book, November last year, I went to Atlanta for a group book signing. At the group book signing, in Atlanta, my godparents live there. And so I hadn't been around them in a number of years. These are my dad's best friends. Haven't seen them in a number of years. So it was amazing because they wanted to bring out old photos. And these were the people that christened me when I was first born. So long time ago. these were the people that were there, right? And so they have photos of me over the years, but there were specific photographs and collections actually of photographs and videos. Like, really, these videos are 40 years old. But they had videos of me as a small child, 1 and 2 and 3 years old. And it was amazing. It was amazing to see these photos. And so then, as I'm talking to them and they're recounting the tales of Myra as a child, they're talking about how I was fearless. I wanted to go for it all the time, even from the time of I never really crawled. They were like, I was one of those that just got up and walked. I wanted a cookie, and so I went to go get that cookie. And I got up and walked, right? And so they were talking about all these tales of this fearless child, this fearless Myra that would get up and go and do, and she was just like, there was no stopping her. Okay? There was no stopping her. And so fast forward from November to now. November to now, as I was laying in the bed, experiencing those symptoms of sickness, I'm laying there and I'm thinking, wow, I'm looking at this picture going, what happened to this little girl? Where did this little girl go? Because these people said there was no stopping her. And I remember a time where I wasn't as fearless. I remember a time where life happened. And in that time, I had to go back and start thinking, what made me decide to live afraid and be afraid and allow things to pile up and anxiety to take over? So I ask you that question also. When you think back and you look back over your life and you consider the different stages and steps of life that you've been in, at what point did you allow fear to take over? At what point did you begin thinking, you know what, I'm going to be afraid now. I'm going to take this on. And maybe it didn't happen quite like that, but who taught us to be afraid? I started thinking about children and people I know with small children, and how, children like to jump off of stuff all the time. It doesn't matter. They're just like, hey, I'm going to fly. I believe I can fly. I'm going to fly. I'm going to do it. And so the first thing I want us to look at in, the people in teaching ourselves to be afraid, or allowing people to teach us to be afraid, is number one, pay attention to who you're listening to. Pay attention to who you're listening to. I say that because if you don't, you're going to be stuck listening to people that don't have your best interest at heart. You're going to be listening to people that, let me even put that in there. I love this on Facebook Live because we can always put this in here as well. But pay attention to who you're listening to. Why? Hey, Auntie Sean, I see you there. Pay attention to who you're listening to, because I look at some of the children that I'm around now, and their parents may say things to them and, sit down or you're going to hurt yourself. And the kids are thinking, I run and jump off of this thing all the time, so what do you mean I'm going to hurt myself? And they're fine, when their parents aren't around, jumping up and down. Hey, Grace. They're fine running and jumping off of those things when their parents aren't around. And as soon as their parents are around, then they stop, right? They stop jumping around. And then, hey, Rashawn, I see you there. And then, after a while, they just decide, well, what if I do fall and hurt myself? Or there's that one time that they do fall and they do hurt themselves. And then their parents say, see, I told you it was going to happen. And so they start thinking, you know what? If they're right about me falling and hurting myself, then they're right about me not doing this other thing. They're right about me not doing that other thing. The problem with that, though, is that in a child's mind, when you start constricting them and you start pulling them back, what ends up happening is they start associating those things with everything. And they start trying to connect the dots, right? And so when they're trying to connect the dots all the way around, then you're changing their entire mindset. Hopefully I'm back. This thing is just trying not to let me be great today. But you're training them to think that way. You're not hearing me? Oh no. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me now? It was doing something. It kept trying to take me away. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. No? Let's try something else here. It's very low. Okay, let's try something else here. Let's see. Okay, can y'all hear me now? Hello, hello, hello. Let's try this. We're gonna make it work. Okay, can you hear me now? I just unplugged and replugged the headset and changed the volume down and up. Facebook is not playing nice with me today. Okay, it's back. Woohoo! All right. So where was I? Oh, so we were talking about just the fact that, you know, we awesome. Thank you. So the fact that when you're a child, when they tell you that things are bad, when they tell you that something can't be done, when they tell you that the thing is going to hurt you so you shouldn't do it, what the parents believe that they're doing the right thing. I mean, come on, you're making sure that your child doesn't harm themselves, right? But it starts that process in their brain of limiting themselves. It starts that process in their brain of maybe they're not as invincible as they always believed. Yeah, Facebook is so delayed. I just, ugh. But that's always, you know, an issue. So then imagine you've created these thought processes so that now as an adult, you're going through like, goodness gracious, and you start allowing yourself to do the same thing. All it takes is for one friend to tell you that your business isn't doing so good. All it takes is for that one mentor to say they don't like your idea. All it takes is for one time for you not to make any money, or for your business, one business to fail, then you don't want to go into another business, because you've started connecting the dots that once you fail at something, now you're afraid to try it again. So that's why I say, you know, be careful who you listen to, because when you're listening, certain people we ascribe importance to, and anything that they say to us matters. And it matters in such a large way that we will totally derail our lives simply off of something that person has said. So be careful. Listen, you guys, when I first started coaching, I was, you know, I told people I wanted to be an empowerment speaker. And this was 5 years ago, right? I wanted to be an empowerment speaker. And I linked up with a coach at the time who told me, everybody's an empowerment speaker. You need to call it something else. That's dumb. Like, simply just like that. That's dumb. I was like, okay. And because at the time, I wasn't connected truly with what I meant by those words, empowerment speaker, I just let it go. I let it go. I said, you know what? maybe that's not for me. I'll just go over here and I'll coach, and I won't call myself an empowerment coach. I'll just call myself a life coach. And then now this wasn't somebody I was working with, but it was someone that I highly regarded, right? And some of the things that this person told me about business, about coaching. Now, mind you, this person was not a life coach. They weren't certified, at least. But they called themselves a coach. They didn't call themselves a life coach, just a coach. And then they went on to call themselves a business coach. But what I realized was that what a lot of us do as entrepreneurs is we put real heavy weight on what other people think, and we discount the weight of what we inherently know. When you became an entrepreneur, there were some things, and that's kind of the second thing that you have to look at when it comes to who taught you fear. Because sometimes we teach ourselves fear. We will research our way into fear, right? So it's not so much that we're listening to other people, but we're listening to ourselves. And for those of you that are just joining on, I am Myra J. Stepter, a clarity coach, empowerment speaker, author, mental health advocate, and the chief smile producer. You're here watching us in the Entrepreneur's Classroom, and this episode is the Winning Mindset, where we really do talk about things to help you up-level your mind, fine-tune your focus, build unstoppable confidence so that you are empowered to live the life that makes you smile and stop the self-sabotage. So when we're talking about who taught you how to fear, the other thing that you have to think about is sometimes you are the culprit. The second thing is be careful what you say to yourself. Be careful what you say to yourself. Be careful what you think about yourself. Be careful what you internalize about yourself. Because you have taught yourself how to fear. You have given yourself permission to be afraid of living. You have given yourself permission to be afraid of being your best self. The Marianne Williamson quote is partially why I named my coaching company Press to Be Powerful Beyond Measure. Press to be powerful beyond measure. Why? Because one of the things that she says in the first couple lines of that poem was, our deepest fear is not that we are going to be inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we will be powerful beyond measure. And it's so true. It's so true, because we sit back and it's like, I'm not so much afraid of failure as I am afraid of succeeding. Because guess what? There is a responsibility associated with being successful that many of us can't even begin to fathom. But what we've told ourselves is that everything that we've seen on TV is what success is. And we don't necessarily want that. We don't want people all in our lives and TMZ following us and all that kind of stuff. We don't want the responsibility of celebrity. We don't want the pain and the terror of paparazzi. We don't want the agony of people, trying to take from us and steal from us, right? So we've decided, even though I want better, I don't really want better. Because they're going to talk about me. They're going to treat me terrible. It's going to be so bad to be powerful and fabulous. So I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want to do it. I don't want it. Unfortunately, we haven't surrounded ourselves with the other people that you don't see. We've stunted our own growth. We've stunted our own growth. It was so funny because, that's all I saw of successful people until I started going to networking events, until I started hanging out with people that weren't on social media, until I started getting around entrepreneurs that have been in the coaching world since the 1990s, when coaching first really became a industry. And these are people that are making millions of dollars coaching, and we don't know them. We don't know them. They're making millions of dollars in other industries and other businesses, and we don't know them. They're making millions of dollars as authors, and you don't know them. The name that's on the book isn't even their name. They wrote the book, and they use a pseudonym. Why? Because they want to live in their $1 million homes, take their vacations, live their life, and they're not all about who can see them. And one person I asked that question to, I said, well, why is it that you're not out here telling us how to do this? And they said, because no one would ever believe that I'm doing it the way that I am. No one would ever believe that I could do this outside of social media. No one would ever believe that, yes, in peace, Zakia, exactly. No one would ever believe that I could live a peaceful life and still make money and still do what I'm doing, because the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? The squeaky wheel is what gets the oil. So we all run to the people who are talking the loudest, who are screaming the loudest, who are saying the most. And we're forgetting that sometimes the squeaky wheel is squeaking because it's broken. Yeah, I laid out, y'all. I laid out, okay? Sometimes the squeaky wheel is squeaking because it's broken. Not because it needs the most attention because it's the best. It's broken. So, number one, you guys, who are you listening to? Number two, what are you telling yourself? Right? Number three, number three was kind of hard for me. Because, yes, it's broke. Number three was kind of hard for me because it's something, I think I say this too often, and maybe I don't say it enough. But the number three, when you're thinking about who taught you how to be afraid, number three is how often do you listen to God? I don't care what your spiritual affiliation is, but we all have that internal connection. Now, yes, I've mentioned before, I'm a Christian minister, so I got my connection through Christ to God. That's me. All day, every day, no problem. But whatever your affiliation is, whatever your connection is, we forget as entrepreneurs that all that noise sometimes has to be blocked out. And if you do not go back to the creator that gave you the idea for your business in the first place, if you don't go back to the creator who gave you the life that you have in the first place, if you don't go back to the creator who gave you the wherewithal to connect to the coaches, to make the moves, to do the things, why are you still trying to say that you're in business? Why are you trying to say that you're living an empowered, purposeful life? Why would you not be afraid? Uh-oh. See, I knew today I needed to come out to the car because the internet stuff was going crazy, and then I said, no, this is something that somebody needs today. Somebody needs to know. Yes, God has not given you the spirit of fear. So who are we accepting these spirits from? Let me explain. Zakia, girl, come on now. And this is the thing. It's not that the spirit of fear doesn't exist, and it's not that you don't possess it, right? Because somebody is giving it to you. It didn't come from God, though. And see, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty through God. And if God didn't give you the spirit of fear, it tells you also in that verse that he did give you power, love, and a sound mind. So these are the weapons of warfare that you're supposed to use in order to combat the spirit of fear. Come on here, somebody. And listen, If you are stuck in being fearful, then you are stuck not believing in the power that works in you. If you are stuck, trained in that fear, trained in that, I don't know if I can do it, I don't know if I can even try. Let me tell you, I've studied a lot of religions in this world. Pretty much every single religion tells you, and every religion's foundation is love. And if you just take love, if you don't know about power, you don't know about a sound mind, if you just take love and combat that with everything, and you say, you know what, today, I feel something that resembles fear, but today, I'm going to love me enough to live out my purpose. Today, I'm experiencing the symptoms of fear, but today, I'm going to love my mission enough to live out my purpose. Again, if you just go back to the foundation of things, that is love, then let me tell you, there's nothing that will stand in your way. There's nothing that will be too hard for you. There's nothing that you can't retrain your mind on. Because again, the initial question was, who taught you to be afraid? Back to, like I said, when I was that little 3-year-old girl, and I'm looking at these videos that my godparents had in their home, and I'm looking at little Myra, and she's running and jumping and going and getting it, and just carefree, doesn't care about anything. And I realized I was fearless until somebody taught me to be afraid, until somebody taught me that I may not be good enough, until somebody taught me that maybe someone else was better than me at something, until somebody else taught me to think a little less of myself. Yes, you have to love your mission enough to overcome. And you know, those are things that I say in my daily declarations. When I'm saying, you know what, I wake up in the morning and I tell her in the mirror, I love you enough to be great. Because there was a time when I stopped believing my affirmations, when I stopped even giving them to myself. But then I had to go past affirmations to declarations, because sometimes, see, affirmations are when you already feel good. Declarations are when you need something to happen. Y'all hear that? Affirmations are when you already feel good. When you're sitting there every day going, hello, beautiful, it's a wonderful day, and yesterday was wonderful, and today's going to be just as fabulous as yesterday was, because everything is wonderful. Declarations are, today is my chance to be amazing. Today is my opportunity to be someone else's answered prayer. Today, I love my mission enough to overcome. Today, yeah, you see what I'm saying? So sometimes when that fear does rise up, you've got to start declaring some things over yourself. You know, there's a Donald Lawrence song where it says sometimes you have to encourage yourself, and it says speak over yourself, encourage yourself in the Lord. I'd sing it for y'all, but the way my symptoms of sickness have been acting up this week, I'm just recovering, it wouldn't be nice. But you guys, this is so important to retrain our minds personally, and then retrain the way that we interact, not just with our friends and our families, but with our clients, with our children. Because there was a video, okay, look, I'm almost out of time, y'all. This is getting good. But there was a video on Facebook where this little boy, or Instagram, one of the two I saw, little boy, the parents asked him how he got a popsicle. And so they have the recording up where the little boy literally is getting up on the chair in the dining room, standing up on the dining room table, walking across the dining room table to the counter, walks across the counter into the kitchen, walks around the kitchen across the sink. You know, he steps into the two sides of the sink, gets back up on the counter, walks around over the stove, and stands on the other counter next to the refrigerator, opens the freezer, grabs the bag of popsicles out, and puts them on the counter where he's standing and says, "Oh, I want this one." Now, we all know as a parent, or even as an auntie or whatever, we'd be horrified. This nut just walked all across the table and the counters and all this kind of stuff. The only thing that this child knew was that he wanted a popsicle. He knew his destination. He knew where he wanted to go. He knew where the reward was. And so he was going to find a way, make a way to get to that reward. No fear involved. So tonight I leave us with this. At what point is your destiny and your mission important enough for you to just keep your eye focused on getting there and have nothing to do with the obstacles in the way? Because all you know is that the prize is at the end. What's going to be your popsicle? What's going to be your popsicle? Childlike faith. That's right, Sharita. Childlike faith. Because if we know that God has got us, then why on earth would we act like there's no possibility to get to the end? Why live afraid? Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. Go read that Marianne Williamson quote. As a matter of fact, I'll post it in this thread in a minute. I encourage you. I know this is our last, well, hopefully we'll pick up this series again. This was the last of the 4, but hopefully we'll be able to jump back into the winning mindset again. But yes, fool-like faith. That's right, Brianna. You know, what did the old people say? God takes care of babies and fools. Yes. So hopefully you guys will connect with this. Hey, Tiffany. Hey, you have to watch the replay, but come on and watch the replay. But yes, so just to recap, we've got to make sure that, number one, we pay attention to who is in our ear, who's talking to us. Pay attention to, number 2, what we're saying to ourselves. Number 3, what was number 3, y'all? Oh my goodness, I think I forgot number 3. Oh, it was right there at the tip of my tongue. Oh goodness, we'll go back and get number 3 and I'll recap them at the bottom here. And then I know number 4, we have to go back to God, right? We have to go back to God and what God says about us and about faith and fear. So I'm leaving you guys with faith today. Connect with me. We are actually, and I didn't get the link, being sick this week, I didn't get the link set up for the course, but I will put it on here as soon as it's set up on tomorrow. It won't be tonight, on tomorrow, because we are going to have a focus challenge. We're going to have a focus challenge because we've got to get revved back up. At the end of June, it is going to be 6 months down for our year, and we've got to be ready for the next half, okay? We've got to be ready for the next half, and so we're going to be focusing on getting our lives, getting our mindsets together, okay? So I'll post that here as soon as we have that link ready, and also a little coupon gift for you guys as well. So I will talk with you guys soon. I'm going to jump off of here because I know our time is well spent. See, I sound like a preacher, don't I? Our time is well spent. Anyway, our time has been well spent. I thank you guys so much for being here, being a part. Please share this out with your friends. Invite other people, especially to the Entrepreneur's Classroom. These sessions, as I've been watching the replays, have been amazing. They have been absolutely amazing. So if you have not caught the replays for the Winning Mindset, for Wednesday Wellness, for the Mind Over Matter, Pastor Show with the business tips, I can't even remember all of them, but there are 2 every single day, and these have been phenomenal. Thank you, Grace Cameron, for the opportunity. Thank you guys for being a part and for sharing and for commenting and being here and taking in the knowledge. I appreciate it, and I want to send you light and love and blessings and prayers over your business for all of you. Thank you so much. Connect with me at Myra J. Stepter here on Facebook, on Instagram, on Periscope, Pinterest, everywhere, right? And I will talk with you guys soon. Love you so much. And listen, if you smile at the person in the mirror every day, that gives you permission and gives that person permission to smile at everyone else all around. And it makes the world a little bit better. Have a great day, y'all. Good night.